In this video, I'll be reviewing your Pokemon, and in this specific video, it is Collin's turn to have some of his Pokemon featured in one of these YouTube My Mon Pokemon. Now, if you're unaware, I'm currently having a special offer for those of you who join the nirtheart Discord server by becoming a YouTube member. I have a dedicated text channel called YouTube My Mon, and you can submit 3 Pokemon, a screenshot of them, and we'll have a video here talking about them. In this video specifically, we are going to talk about Collin's 3 submitted Pokemon, and let's hop right into it. So the first Pokemon is a Wigglytuff, and from what I can tell, this seems to be his main healer. The Wigglytuff is level 60. Presumably, it has been evolved from Wigglybuff, but either way, this is a pretty strong Wigglytuff. Now, I can see that it has 29 carry limit, so that makes me believe it has 1,000 hours on it or more. Probably close to 2,000, who knows. The first sub-skill is Helping Speed M, and overall that is a huge sub-skill for pretty much all Pokemon, and it has skill trigger M. The nature here is a little bit unfortunate. It's actually not docile, but quirky. Basically the same. It's one of the neutral natures. I would say overall, these 2 first sub-skills, and particularly if none of them have been sub-skill seeded, maybe the speed has been sub-skill seeded because the trigger S comes in at level 50, and then there's even some more inventory coming up later. Level 100, there is an ingredient finder S, but this doesn't really do too much. It's also very late, so we're not going to talk about that. The inventory here though is nice, so just keep in mind the overall inventory is already accounted for. As you can see, when I remove this, it goes down to 29, which is the current inventory. Now we're just going to put that here because this Wigglytuff is already level 60. Level 75 is not that far away, all things considered, especially when you factor in how many Wigglytuff, Jigglypuff, and Igglybuff candies are sent around in the friend lists, just because Wigglytuff, very highly rated, I would say probably a solid A tier on the Wigglytuff. Gardevoir is just that much stronger, unfortunately, but Gardevoir is available quite late in the game. And so overall, what do we think about this Wigglytuff? The 2 skill trigger skills here are massive. You can see the overall skill rate is 6%. Now, I haven't finalized the frequency of how often you should proc your or collect from your skill specialist spreadsheet yet, but in the future, that could potentially give us an indication as for how often Collin should collect from this Wigglytuff. I would say, in the case you are a free-to-play player, I don't know if this is the Wigglytuff you should go for. Now, presumably, Collin is either a premium player or maybe even a whale. We'll get to see some of these other Pokemon that he submitted. They're pretty crazy. So, for the Wigglytuff here, with the Helping Speed M, the Skill Trigger M, and the Skill Trigger S combo in those 3 first slots, with the addition of inventory coming up later, I actually don't think the neutral nature here is a huge detriment, especially as we are getting close to potentially main skill level 7 on the energy for everyone. I can say that this Wigglytuff in specific is main skill level 6, so that would mean he's probably evolved it from Igglybuff and then used 3 main skill seeds on it. I would say overall this is a very solid healer, probably a staple on your team for a long time, and honestly, if I had a Wigglytuff like this, I probably wouldn't go for the Ralts Hunt, just because 6% on the healing is pretty huge, and now that it's already level 60, it's going to require a lot of resources to really get a Gardevoir anywhere near that, especially when you consider the fact that it's got inventory coming up at level 75. So if you make this inventory L potentially, and you also get it to 2,000 hours, this is going to be huge. Basically every time you either wake up or open the game, or like you just have a very, very high probability that you've banked 2 skills. And overall, the skill rate is so high. In fact, you may not even need that extra inventory unless you do overnight stuff. Long term, I could see this Wigglytuff getting boosted to, let's say, main skill level 8. And at that point, you probably can run it in short bursts with this inventory too, and just overheal your box and put the Wigglytuff back in. But yeah, this is a nice find. I'm very happy for you. And let's hop on to the next Pokemon. Actually, before we do, I'm curious to just showcase my website a little bit. Most of you guys in the comments anyway, who have talked about my website have been very satisfied with what you've seen so far. So let's just have a look at Wigglytuff here. I haven't finalized the full-on strategy article, but as you can see, most of the elements are here. We have the title of the name of the Pokemon, and then we have some of these lists that you can click on if you want. For example, if you want to have a Sleep Dex-like layout here, but you only want the Fairy type Pokemon, then you can click right here and you'll go right through it. Once this article is finalized, there will also be berry values and some other things that will be useful. So we can go back to Wigglytuff. Maybe you want to have a look at all the snoozing Pokemon. I actually don't know if this list is... no, this is not finalized. You can see there's Totodile. So this page overall still in development, as mentioned. So got a lot to work on. And then, yeah, skill specialists, just go to the Sleep Dex. And yeah, we have the evolution section. We have the classic widget on the side here. And some of these tables. For the berry value, we can see that overall it is a decent berry value if it has berry finding, but overall not crazy. You would probably want to prefer having more skill related traits on the Wigglytuff unless you somehow have some Suicune comboing going on at Cyan Beach, for example, which is what I'm doing on my free to play. But then on the free to play again, you probably want skill level up because of those extra main skill levels on the Wigglytuff when Gardevoir comparatively is much stronger. I don't think the ingredient lists here are too important for the Wigglytuff, so this was mostly just to click a little bit around on my website and showcase the parts that are pretty nice, the parts that need a little bit of work, and we can hop on to the next Pokemon. Alright, this next Pokemon is really, really crazy. Now I'm just gonna walk through it and then we'll see where this all stacks up. So first of all, we are talking about a skill specialist, and so I'm already gonna put up the Sassy Nature, which is what it's got, which is huge. Anytime you have a skill specialist with the main skill chance up nature, it's really, really strong. The level of this specific Pokemon is 51, and we are talking about Vaporeon. Vaporeon is a very interesting Pokemon, and overall it is one that I have hunted a lot on my primary account. If you've been following the channel for a while, you've probably seen that my friendship level on Eevee is above 60. I simply haven't found the Pokemon I want to evolve into Vaporeon yet. And I'm also a little bit short now that I happen to find a couple good legendary Pokemon. Now in this video specifically, we're talking about Collin's Pokemon, and this Vaporeon is main skill level 7. I assume that it's been evolved from Eevee. And based on the inventory, it has inventory L coming in at level 50, which is huge. And it has carry limit 39, which means it's probably got 500 hours on it. Mostly you want the Vaporeon to run during daytime, but watch this. It's got berry finding, which is pretty huge because you can put Vaporeon on a Suicune team and get some good combo potential. Now, you would have to wand this Vaporeon way, way, way into the future, but I actually think this Vaporeon eventually will get to level 100. And at that point in time, it gets helping bonus, and so the combo potential here with Suicune, where you have Vaporeon that has berry finding, some inventory, and the helping bonus is huge. There are some other good skills in here, or at least one, and that is the skill trigger M, and that is what just secures this package to where you have the main skill chance up nature, huge for a skill specialist. You have the skill trigger M, bringing the overall skill rate on this Vaporeon to a whopping 10%. I would say overall the ingredient magnet S is not among the strongest main skills. The only thing is, we don't know. It's one of those main skills that I think will scale well as we go into the future. And although you get a vast variety of ingredients, the volume that you're getting them at makes it so that even as some fillers here and there, it can work out. Especially if you are running a full-on Suicune team anyway, you kind of want some ingredients here and there. And so you get the combo with Suicune, you get the helping bonus. No, not the helping bonus, but well, you get that here too. The helping or helper boost on the other potential berry specialists that are on the Suicune team. Level 75, it's actually not a particularly interesting or helpful skill. It is ingredient finding. The ingredient list is milk, cacao. So we're looking at an A, B ingredient list. Now, here's where I just don't understand the luck. This is not a Vaporeon. This is a shiny Vaporeon. So if you had found an Eevee with these stats, wouldn't you be like super surprised? Berry finding, skill trigger M, main skill chance up nature, inventory to go alongside that berry finding as a skill specialist, with a helping bonus coming in eventually. Like, this Vaporeon is going to make it to level 100 someday. And when it does, it's going to be absolutely cracked. This is one of the craziest Vaporeons I ever seen. Main skill chance up and skill trigger M is that nice core of any skill specialist. And then if you have any supplemental stuff like huge inventory is nice, helping speed M is nice, maybe the berry finding too, and the helping bonus. So overall, this is a very pristine Pokemon, and it's nicknamed Strawberry, which is fitting since it has a little bit of a pink reddish hue for a Vaporeon. All right, we have made it to the final Pokemon, but before we do, I think we should peek a look just a little bit on the website because you guys seem to like that segment. So we're gonna hop down to the skill specialists, and on my website, it's not ordered by national dex number. It is ordered more, it's a semi-national dex type thing, but I've clumped all of the evolutions together. So you can see, for example, Slowpoke is a Kanto Pokemon. Slowking is a Johto Pokemon, but I've put them together so you just have the whole string. It's kind of fitting when they're also the same specialty. So for example, down here we have Ralts, Curlia, Gardevoir, and Gallade. If there is ever a Pokemon in the future where the specialty is not consistent across the whole evolution line, that may be a problem with the sorting, but for now, it works out nicely. All the evolutions in a whole row here. So the Vaporeon article is also not finalized yet. The evolution section here took a lot of work, as you can see, and I do like to highlight all of the things that you need to know about the evolutions. And even these parts here, for example, Eevee can evolve into Sylveon at any level after 150 hours of total sleep time in exchange for 80 candies. A lot of places just list these two and forget to mention that there is no level requirement. And although this is not like needed to be listed, like particularly, I kind of like having just all the information out there because it's a point that some people may be not sure about. So I tried to pack all of that in here as well. The widget type, that was the first thing I built. Like, the widget here took a lot of work, and I'm very thankful to RaenonX, who allowed me to use a lot of the information here and essentially allowed me to have a foundation in which to build this website on top of to begin with. Then we have the tables that we've seen on the various Pokemon already. So all the tables and the evolution sections are done for the most part. This number actually matters this time around because, as far as I know, Collin is a pretty long-term player, and the Vaporeon actually has berry finding, and the Oran berry is favored at Cyan Beach and every now and then at Greengrass Isle. And I also would assume that it has, or that Collin has, a high area bonus on a lot of his areas. And at that point, this value right here is very relevant and very huge, and a huge bonus overall to his team production strength. What's interesting to hear with this Oranberry is that the helper boost will go way into this one. Or the helper boost? Man, I get so confused. Okay, 20% ingredient rate, pretty solid. Let's get on with the show here. We have a third and final Pokemon to cover in this video, and that is another evolution, believe it or not. And if you thought the first one was crazy, well, this one's getting pretty close to it. It also happens to be shiny, so just keep that in mind. This Vaporeon we spent 10 minutes talking about is shiny. This Espeon is also shiny. I almost can't believe it. It's crazy. So, the first thing we're gonna plot in here is the nature. Overall, maybe not the best nature on the Espeon, but we'll see in a bit here why it is kind of nice after all. 55 is the level. It is nicknamed Kiwi, which is really funny. So Collin's got Strawberry and Kiwi. Now I'm just looking forward to see what the next shiny cracked evolution will be like. The care limit is 27. It has no inventory up, so this means it's got over 1,000 hours on it. That's huge. First sub-skill is Helping Bonus, and the second is Helping Speed M. Espeon is really good for Lapis Lakeside. It has Favored Berry there, and there's actually no Psychic type Berry Specialist as of the recording of this video, and so Vaporeon is one of those only Pokemon that has Mago Berry. So for Greengrass Isle, random berry rolls, then this Espeon can be pretty good because it happens to have Berry Finding. Now, Espeon is a skill specialist, so you would want some skill triggers in it, and it also has that. It's got skill trigger M coming in at level 75. I would say for most Espeon, you probably would like a more skill-related set of sub-skills. Now, the Helping Bonus, the Speed, and the skill trigger M is a huge combination. And then in addition, it has the Berry Finding, which is a huge production boost. And it's got the ingredients down nature, and that will also help out with the Berry Finding. And let's not forget, this Espeon is shiny. It is all green. Now, I don't have a button here on my widget that will change to the shiny sprite here, but that is pretty ridiculous. It's also got main skill level 7, so that is pretty huge. It seems overall that the charge strength main skills are released higher levels before the other skills, so that is something to keep in mind here with Espeon. It's going to be a bit further along when it comes to the other skill specialists for the most part, and so charge strength M at main skill level 8 is going to be pretty massive. We can see the values down here. These are the base values. So at level 7, 6.4 thousand. That was an awkward way of reading it. 6,500 at base strength will be multiplied by the area bonus. So if the area bonus is 60%, this is well over 10,000 Snorlax strength per trigger. And with a Helping Bonus and the Berry Finding, the speed and everything in here, this is a very solid Pokemon. And I also mentioned this is shiny. So 2 ridiculous, useful, shiny evolutions. And pretty happy for you, Collin. I hope that you will be able to get some discount captures on the other evolutions if they show up hunger or something like this, so that you can use the candy conversion for the type candies and just fuel it into these two. Because when you have Pokemon that has a solid berry finding edge to them, you really do want to level them up, and level 51 and 55 at this point in time is fairly high. So super happy for you, Collin, with these 3 Pokemon that you have submitted, and I wish you the best of luck with your future hunts, and maybe in the future we'll see more of Collin's busted collection, because I can tell you these are only 3 of a grand total of a whole lot. So hope you enjoyed watching, and leave a like if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, and I'll see you next time.